Welcome students, I am Shubham Goyal and I'm gonna teach you about clustering in machine learning. This is the first lecture on clustering lecture series. Okay, let's start. These are some of the topics that we have to discuss today. Firstly, we have to understand the meaning of clustering, followed by the need which have motivated us to adopt clustering. After that, some of the prerequisite things about which one must have knowledge before proceeding for model training under clustering. Then, some broader and prominent type of clustering are also mentioned, followed by some important areas of applications where clustering can be used to perform various tasks are also mentioned. Clustering is the task of dividing population or data points into a number of groups such that data points in the same group are more similar to other data points in the same group than those in other groups. Or, in simple word, we can also say that by clustering, our aim is to segregate the object or items into groups with similar traits. For example, in figure, clustering model will act as a human segregator whose task is to segregate the collection of balls into different groups based on some criteria like color, pattern, size, etc. But here in figure, as mentioned, model has used the pattern of design on balls before grouping task. Here, one more example is provided to understand some more fact about clustering. First, data given as input to clustering algorithm are unlabeled, means nothing mentioned about the category or the group to which data item belong. Second thing is clustering is an unsupervised learning, that means no one to guide that this item belongs to that group or not. A clustering algorithm must itself identify the patterns to group the data. That means it's the duty of the clustering algorithm to identify some pattern that on the basis of this I can divide these items into some groups. Like here in the picture, input data are some cartoon characters which are grouped on the basis of cartoon shows in which they perform. Here, with the help of picture, a very important aspect of clustering is explained. That is, why we require clustering, or simply need for clustering. As the person wonders that what is the need, why I have to perform this clustering in the real world. Let's take some scenario to understand it in much better way. Suppose you are a head of retail store and wish to understand the preferences of your customer to scale up your business profits. Like the person in the image is thinking that how I can scale up my business to get more profits. Now, is it possible for you to look at the details of each customer and devise a unique business strategy for each one of them? No, definitely not. But what you can do is to cluster all your customers into some groups based on their purchasing habit and use separate strategy for customers depending on the group to which they can do is he can divide his all customers in some groups and based upon their common habits it can formulate some strategy for the entire group so that its profit margins can be increased. And this is why we require clustering, or simply we can also say that clustering is required for unearthing the target groups or unearth the some hidden patterns in your data. There is one more need for which we require clustering, that is outlier or noise detection. Outlier in simple words is an anomalous entity, or we can also say that it is an odd one out thing. For more detail about outlier, refer data preprocessing lecture series. So clustering helps to identify the outlier by not making him by not making him the part of any group or the member of any group. Like here in the picture, the data points shown in orange color are not the part of any group, so it can be said that they are the outliers, or you can say noise. Before proceeding for actual grouping of data items with the help of clustering, there are some prerequisite about which a person performing the clustering must know. First one, proximity measure, which help to identify the similarity or dissimilarity of data items in order to considered or not to be considered as a part of one cluster. Similarity measure value is large. Similarity measure value is large if value of xi and sk are more similar. Like here, this function is used to measure the similarity, and we can also measure dissimilarity by using this function. If dissimilarity is small, that means x and sk are more similar to each other. Criteria function is used to evaluate the clustering. It helps to analyze that the cluster formed at current parameter settings or by the present algorithm is good or not. Like here, we have said that this is a good clustering and this is not a good clustering. Okay, so criteria function will help you to decide that this clustering is good or not on the basis of current parameter setting or current algorithm. Or it can set that if your clustering is not, to try some another algorithm or try some another parameter settings. Algorithm to compute clustering is also required. That means we also have knowledge about that which algorithm I have to use for clustering. Okay, such that my criteria function can be optimized or my desired performance can be obtained. Dissimilarity and similarity measure, or you can say distance measure, these are two most widely used similarity measures used to compute the similarity or dissimilarity of row vectors corresponding to your data points in the data space. That means the points which we are talking about are actually the row vectors of your data set, and in these row vector you are actually calculating the distance, or you can say the similarity or dissimilarity. So there are two measures, Euclidean distance and Manhattan distance. Manhattan distance is also called city block. Other than this, there are other methods also for calculating the similarity and dissimilarity that you can decide as per your problem. Okay, and Manhattan distance sometimes also called as approximation of Euclidean distance, and these are the mathematical formulas which can be used to compute your corresponding distances in the row vectors. Evaluation criteria: intra-cluster cohesion, that means used to evaluate the compactness of your cluster. That means within the same cluster, that means intra-cluster cohesion. Intra means within the same cluster we are measuring that how much compact this cluster is. Okay, cohesion measure how near data points in a cluster are to your centroid. That means how much they are near to your cluster center. Sum of square error is a commonly used measure to evaluate this thing. Next one is inter-cluster separation. That means inter means two different clusters. That means how much separate your two different clusters are. And that is used to measure the isolation of two clusters or similarity dissimilarity of the two clusters. Separation means that different cluster centroids should be far away from one another. So according to the point, we are saying that how much your center of two different clusters are, that decide your intercluster separation. Expert judgment: to judge the cluster validity is also must, that we also have knowledge about that this cluster is good or not by simply expert knowledge. That means person performing the clustering must understand that from the graph that these clusters are good or not. Types of clustering: broadly, clustering can be divided into two categories. One is hard clustering and soft clustering. Hard clustering. In hard clustering, data point either belongs to a cluster completely or not, or simply a point either a member of a cluster or not. Soft clustering. In soft clustering, instead of putting each data point into a separate cluster, a probability or likelihood of that point to be in those clusters is assigned. Or in simply words, we can also say that membership degree of data point corresponding to a cluster is calculated, and on the basis of that it is decided that which cluster this point belongs. Types of class algorithms in clustering. So broadly, there are four types: partition method, hierarchical method, grid based method, and density based methods. You can also divide in others also. So mostly these four are used. First one is partition method. Here, data is partitioned into k subgroups based on some criteria, and each subgroup is considered as a separate cluster. Hierarchical method. Here, tree type structure of hierarchies are used to form clusters. Grid based method. In this method, the data space is formulated into finite number of cells that forms a grid like structure and help to make clusters. Density method. The varying density of data points in data space is used to form the clusters. Here, rectangle represents the algorithm type and circle represents the example of algorithm belonging to that category. Here, the square or rectangle marked in red are actually explained in the subsequent slides or the lectures, as these are only the part of our syllabus, and the circles marked in green and only these examples are discussed in the subsequent lecture series. Some of the prominent application of clustering are: first one, recommendation engines to group people in order to provide customized recommendation to them. Next one, market segmentation to analyze the target customer. That means on which basis I can divide my customer so that we can have some strategy for the customers. Social network analysis, it helps to divide the friends on the social network in order to get the segmentation based on their trust level or friendship level. Web search engines, image segmentation used to analyze different part of the images. And next one is anomaly detection. It helps to save person or user from some major cyber attack or some bugs in the system. Like it will automatically detect that now this is an outlier or this thing is not a part of ordinary group. So this can be an anomalous entity in our system or our data set. Other than this, there are other application also of clustering. These are some of the topics that we have discussed in the today's lecture. So what we have discussed is meaning of the clustering. We have understand that what do you mean by clustering, why clustering is required, that is to unearth some hidden facts or some patterns from the data. We have also learned the prerequisite of clustering, that is dissimilarity measures, evaluation criteria, algorithms, types of clustering algorithm, that is it is a partition algorithm, hierarchical, grid, or density based algorithm. And we have also mentioned some prominent applications of the clustering. Thank you students for watching the lecture video, and do watch and understand the remaining lectures in clustering lecture series. Once again, thank you.